And on today's show, why busting financial planning lies is necessary. Part 3 of this week's series on the new prosperity economics with registered investment advisor Kim Butler. Hi everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and contributing author to Backroom Technician in Innsmark. Let's get down to business. Well, welcome to day 3, Kim.
Hello, Steve.
Kim, I got to tell you, the controversial hate mail is rolling in. It's not that bad. So far, we're okay. It's not, but it's not a philosophy. It's not an option. You're saying the math even works. We're departing from mathematics, but actually this math you're saying works better.
Well, it is interesting. You know, we actually have software, we'll talk about that in another day or two, that does prove that our prosperity economics theories are accurate, correct, and a better way to help the clients with the math, make the math associate with their lives. That's where the disconnect is. Typical financial planning has math over here and a client's life over here, and that's the lie.
Well, of course, we're looking at busting financial planning lies, and also your other books on Amazon.com, Busting Retirement Lies, and your Live Your Life Insurance. Now, the reason I bring this up, you're going to give away something here. What book are we pulling from today?
So on the bottom of the screen is 100 pages of the 270-page book, Busting the Financial Planning Lies. So you can get a real good look at it. If it's something that you like, you can buy it on Amazon. If you don't, we'll welcome the hate mail.
But you're going to give them 100 pages of this, and you're free to kind of let you look at it. Now, the reason I say it might be somewhat controversial is anytime you're changing a paradigm, people are going to say, hey, this worked for me in the past. It should work for me in the future. There's only so many moves on the checkerboard. Once you've learned them, that's it. But you've made this multidimensional in your approach. Now, let's talk about what the basic premise of the book. Give me, if you had to tell, when I think about the lie in the Garden of Eden, when the devil talks Eve, basically into biting them. Okay, what's the main lie that you're talking about in this book?
The main lie is that advisors think that we can mathematically help a client meet a need or a goal financially. And so the whole approach that financial planning brings out is that we can pull together all these numbers and actually have what is correct mathematically be correct for that client's life. And that is not accurate. And when we look back at the history, there was not financial planning before 1950 or so. And so when we talk about prosperity economics, which is the alternative to financial planning, which is explained very thoroughly in the book, prosperity economics is what used to happen 100 years ago or 80 years ago in the, say, early 1900s, 1920, 1930, 1940. That's what prosperity economics is. When you look at the 7 principles of prosperity, which we can talk about tomorrow, that's what people used to do. People do financial planning now, but financial planning is the new kid on the block. Prosperity economics is the one that's been around a long time.
So you're actually returning to what you think is the tried and true cornerstone of actual wealth and enjoying your retirement.
Yes, except I'm going to catch you on the word retirement, because as you know, yesterday we talked about Busting the Retirement Lies, which is the other book. And that's the challenge with financial planning. Everything is driven towards retirement, as if this age 65 absolutely has everything to do with our whole life, and that's not true. We want for clients' money to be free. We want clients to be free. We don't think people should retire. We don't think people should be focused on age 65. Retirement's not good for you physically, mentally, socially, emotionally, psychologically. There's all kinds of negative things that retirement does, and yet
Wait a minute, I can't retire?
Why would you want to? Do you love what you do?
At the present, yes, because my sponsor is one.
Yes, but when we're engaged and when we're loving what we do, is it really work? And let's think about this. Yeah, you can retire if you want, but is that the best thing for you? Aren't you energized by giving to the world? You provide all this information, and don't you want to keep doing that? Now, you want to do it on your schedule. You want to have freedom with your money, but you don't want everything locked into this magical age 65, which has nothing to do with your life.
Give me another big lie that you address in the book next to this one, because this one sounds pretty paramount.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that I think is so critical is that we have started to lump together in the financial planning world the idea of saving and investing. And we put them together as if it's the same thing, and we want to separate them out so that you are saving money that is liquid. You know, it's interesting. I just saw on a well-known magazine recently a whole list of places that you could save money. And yet not one time did life insurance get listed. And we know in this community that life insurance is one of the most fabulous places to save money. But is life insurance an investment? I'm going to argue that it's not. Now, I know some people think that it is, but I don't think so, because saving is liquid.
So even if a variable life insurance contract was used with sub-accounts tied to mutual fund-like and or ETF-like accounts, that wouldn't be the same?
To me, that's combining savings and investing, and that's where we get ourselves in trouble. When we save, we want it to be liquid. Now, we could argue that variable life is liquid, but I don't really think it is. It's in mutual funds, and we're not going to sell them when they're down, so then we've lost our liquidity. We want our money that we're saving to be liquid. We want to control it. We want to have full use of it, and we want to be able to borrow against it, because leveraging is the ability to get $1 to do more than one job. We're going to talk about that a little bit more tomorrow when we bring up the 7 principles of prosperity.
We come back from the break. We're going to talk more about the book, the lies. We're going to punch up about another couple, 2, maybe even 3 in the next segment. We'll be right back after the break. It's not how much money you make for your clients, it's how much money they get to keep, especially in retirement. But retirement income could cause Social Security benefits to be taxed. One tax advantage alternative is life insurance, designed as a non-modified endowment contract that can generate tax-free income without taxing Social Security benefits. These contracts offer differing funding options depending upon your client's risk tolerance. For more information on how life insurance can be part of your retirement planning, just email me at steve@downtobusiness.tv. Brought to you by Ash Brokerage, the practice enhancement company. Well, welcome back to the second segment. Of course, I'm with registered investment advisor and controversial planner, Kim Butler. Kim, let's talk, before we get into a couple of these more lies in your book, talk to me a little bit about this quick Amazon marketing idea, which I think is really great for our advisors.
Well, it's kind of interesting, because here we are talking about all the negative things that financial advisor is going to do. So I want to endear myself to your audience just a tad. And that is that we need to remember that Amazon is a search engine. You know, we talk about Google, we talk about YouTube, but Amazon is a fabulous search engine, and your clients are looking for books. So on Amazon, there is something called Kindle Select, which is a program that they offer for you if you've written a little book. And my first book was tiny little 50-page Live Your Life Insurance book. If you put that on Kindle Select, they will mark it for you. And so we actually got, of my second book, the third book, Busting Retirement Lies, we actually got 1,500 downloads on the first day that Kindle Select put it out there for us. So Kindle Select is free, and it's available if you can get a book written, which you can get help to do. You know, you can, the author and the writer are not always the same. Sure. Then you can get a book out there and make it available on Amazon, and that helps clients track you down.
I think that's a huge value add, because everybody's conditioned to YouTube clicks, Google clicks. Now we're talking about getting even more ranking by putting a book out there through Kindle. Now that to me is just a nice marketing touch. And I know there's a lot of people out there say, hey, I could do a nice basic book. I mean, the book you're referring to is this one, isn't it?
Yes, the little
So we're not talking about a lot of pages here.
Right.
Basic idea. I think that's great. All right, well, let's go back to the lies, the untruths. It sounds like a dastardly book, okay? Give me another one.
Okay, so let's talk about mortgages. So everybody knows that there's the 30-year mortgage and then there's the 15-year mortgage. And I, as a financial planner, trained certified financial planner, was told that one should prepay mortgages because mortgages have a cost. And so I went with that. I even told my parents, you should prepay your mortgage. But over time, as I realized that my entrepreneurial clients were not prepaying their mortgages, I wasn't prepaying my mortgage. And as I realized that the efficiency of money was not best shoved into a mortgage where I could not control it, but instead was kept in my control where it was liquid and I could either save or invest it, that I was better off. And so over time, and I say we, because we have Truth Concept software that has helped us prove this. So we'll talk about the software later, but we have proven that your actual least expensive mortgage is the 30-year mortgage. And yet a lot of financial advisors out there and financial planners are taught to say to the client, prepay your mortgage, get rid of that debt. So that's another lie that we cover and go into more on a conceptual basis in the Busting Financial Planning
So
lies.
would you try to pull more equity out of your house then and try to leverage it?
Now that's a real controversial one. I personally would, but it's not something I would typically recommend to clients. I think as a general rule of thumb, you don't want to take on more debt. And clearly, if you're pulling equity out of your home, then you are taking out debt.
Now do you manage this in the book then?
Yes,
this
we
concept?
go through it.
Okay, so the lie that you're saying is you're talking about not paying off early.
Right.
But at the same time, you want to keep your debt minimalized, if I hear you correctly.
Right.
But 30 years is a good use of the money, and you're being able to use this
Exactly.
in someplace else. Okay. What about another falsehood that you're busting?
Another financial planning lie is that when we are looking at, I'm trying to think of a different product. Let's talk about mutual funds for a little bit. So we talked about life insurance sum, we've talked about the mortgages sum, we've talked about the qualified plan sum. Let's talk about the mutual fund arena. So in that environment, people are typically reinvesting their interest, just like we talked about it in the savings account. And so I want to reintroduce this concept of opportunity cost, because when you are reinvesting your interest and when you are paying fees to the financial advisor, that money, both of those dollars, have opportunity costs associated with them. And so we need to be conscious of these opportunity costs. We need to measure them. We need to be aware of what they are. And whether we're talking about prepaying the mortgage or the fees inside a mutual fund, the way that you measure opportunity costs is to apply an interest rate to it. So let's say that your best investment is earning 6%. And so the way you measure opportunity costs is to apply 6% to those costs. So you take your fees, you multiply those times 6%, or you take the money that you are prepaying into your mortgage, and that's a cost of 6%. And so when you run that out, here's the challenge with this. None of these things make a big difference in a 1-year time frame. But when you run those out over time and you look at the longevity, which we need to be looking at our clients 30, 40, 50, 60 years, right? Even a 40 or a 50-year-old is easy going to live 50, 60 more years. Then the opportunity cost, or the lost opportunity cost, it's a basic economic concept, is absolutely detrimental. And it's addressed in the book in a way that helps people understand and prove it, because clients struggle with it, but so do advisors.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Remember, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always consult your tax advisor, legal counsel, or your broker-dealer compliance officer. Missed an episode? Just hop out to our video archives. And remember, you could be wiser as an educated advisor. I'm Steve Savant. We'll see you tomorrow.